Alan.
Yeah! Oh,
Hi, everybody. How's it going? In case you did not know, in case you're just going about the internet clicking about random things, this is the Movie Club Strikes Back weekly Saturday hangout, where we hang out weekly on a Saturday. We like to talk about films and such, but this week we've not really got much of a plan. Who have we got today?
I am Christopher. You can find me on YouTube at Easy Chair Reviews, where I do reviews mainly for Movie Club Strikes Back, and occasionally on Twitter, but not so much. Next.
Hey, I'm Courtney. I know I look different because I did this to my hair last week, and it's pretty cool.
Which looks fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you. I never get tired of hearing that. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram there, and then youtube.com/historicalfoil, though I haven't been very active lately because of things.
terrible, terrible things. Hello, I'm Alan Britt. That's my channel if you haven't seen me. If you can't find me on the internet, then you are blind. I have a website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and just I rape the internet in so many weird, stupid ways. It's outrageous. I do funny news, movie reviews, and I hang out with wonderfully mental people on Saturdays.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm Jenny on YouTube, Jenny on Twitter, and I have been remarkably inactive recently. I'm like 2 months behind on Movie Club Strikes Back reviews, which is awful, but I will catch up eventually, I promise. I promise once I actually have a day off, a whole day off, I will catch up on everything. But yes, I do movie reviews and anime reviews with these wonderful people, and occasionally I do vlog type thingies, and I am drinking wonderfully non-alcoholic fruity drinks, because even though I can technically drink, I can't be asked.
Hey guys, I'm Tor, and you can find me at Tor's Times, basically on the World Wide Web. And yesterday was Halloween, so I'm wearing my hat, and I do movie reviews with these guys, these hangouts occasionally, and I do all kinds of other random videos that I'm sure you will all watch and love. Liam.
I think he's frozen.
He's frozen. Oh no.
Oh,
Well,
Dun, dun,
with
dun.
being frozen, I'd like to open up the floor. So, what have you been watching this week, people? Anyone?
I went and saw the Book of Life in theaters,
All right.
which was actually, I was really, really, really pleasantly surprised. I'd never heard of it until I was like, I feel like going to the movies because I won a movie voucher for my costume. And I was just like, well, this is here. It's kind of Halloween-y looking. Really, really good. I really enjoyed it. So if you guys are looking for something to see in theaters and you like kids-type movies and Cinco de Mayo, go watch it. It's a very specific genre, kids Cinco de Mayo movies.
It sounds good to me.
I went and I saw Fury on Sunday, which is definitely not a kids movie. It was really good, but it's really intense. So you gotta buckle down for that one because it's really good. It's about 2.5 hours long, but it's very gory. It's very intense, and there's a couple of morally questionable scenes in there. But really good performance, particularly by Brad Pitt. And surprisingly, by Shia LaBeouf as well. He actually did a very decent job.
sorry, has everyone seen the Cannibal Shia LaBeouf video?
Yes.
No.
Because that made me happy for about 3 days straight.
That was my ringtone for like 6 days after it came out.
What Shia LaBeouf video?
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
It is like a kind of like a slasher film starring Shia LaBeouf as kind of the cannibalistic axe murderer, but like in a beat poem.
Yeah.
It's a beat poem song, and then like the guy who did it has done like this full-blown like operatic version with like dancers and like a full choir and a full like orchestra, and ribbon dances, and it's amazing.
Oh, wow.
It's so funny.
It sounds good.
I haven't seen the operatic version of it. Now I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh, totally watch it. It's amazing. It, like, you know, I won't spoil it, but post Hangout, we are watching this as a group.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And everyone at home is just going to have to Google it.
Yeah.
What's
Google
funny
it, it's
about
good for you.
it is, like, some of the stuff that I've heard about Shia LaBeouf and his prep for Fury is he went all, like, crazy method actor. Apparently he wasn't happy with the makeup that was being done, so he, like, cut his own face. This could just be, like, gossip that you get through watching way too many trailers and gossip sites and stuff, but yeah, apparently he just cut his face every day in order to maintain those scars.
Apparently he did go quite method. I don't know about the cutting of his face, but I know that he and a couple of the other members of the cast didn't bathe at all during the
Ew.
filming, just so they could.
That's unnecessary.
I know it is. I said that on my computer screen when I watched them say it.
But
yeah.
supposedly most of that film is like 80, 85, 90% all male cast, and the rest are female roles that are just brushed aside, so don't really have much impact on the film. I mean, I haven't watched it, so correct me if I'm wrong. So
there's like one scene where there are a couple of females present. They go into a town and they go up into the apartment of these two young women, and they spend about 15-20 minutes there. I don't know if I'd say they don't have a lot of screen time, but there is kind of an impact without spoiling too much. That was a really good scene. It was very subtle, but it left you very uncomfortable.
I would say a lot of the best acting performances, not all of them, but a lot of the best acting performances in that film were in that scene there, especially from Shia LaBeouf, I would say.
See, I'll happily check it out, but if blokes aren't washing, then it's no different than just, especially if it's mostly male cast, it's just them going camping in a tank and filming it.
Yes, of course, exactly the same.
Well, there's going camping when you're out in the woods and there's breezes. If you're in a very tight enclosed space with a bunch of guys who haven't bathed in a while, that's going to be a different experience altogether.
Have you never been to a music festival?
I mean, you could still bring some soap.
No.
Or like a can of Axe, I don't know.
See, Axe has different connotations in Britain. Axes are Lynx, and Lynx adverts just supposedly claim that if you smother yourself in Lynx, then loads of women will come out of the woodwork and chase you down a beach, and you just don't need that if you haven't watched. That's just.
Have you guys seen the cinematic advert for Lynx, where it's like a full-blown mini movie? Like they have it's a full-length trailer length if you watch it in the cinema, but if you watch it just on the TV, it has it's going through time, and it has a hipster-looking boy who's dressed as a caveman and a hipster-looking girl dressed as a cave woman, and they're about to meet, and then an iceberg separates. And then it jumps through the time, and it's Pompeii, and he's like running towards her while she's buying things, and then Pompeii happens, and then it's through the wars, and then at the end he sprays himself with Lynx, and she just arrives, and it's beautiful.
The only thing that's ever going to stand in your way other than time is the likelihood of deodorant.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm semi-watching Formula One, and you've got a really fat Matt LeBlanc on TV. It's like I've finished Friends now. I'm just gonna eat the world.
What else is he gonna do?
Anyway.
I find it funny when commercials have better production quality than some movies that are coming out. Just speaking of having a full-length trailer for Lynx deodorant, and it's like, seriously? Like,
Well,
it's cool, But I'm just waiting for the day when there's an entire movie that's just like Mac and Me. It's just a commercial for something.
We have a weird relationship with adverts in Britain compared to what looked like American adverts. You have infomercials where for the entire advert break they're trying to sell you Dr. Q or Dr. Phil's magic weight loss bullshit, right? And we have this thing called a kettle.
Yeah, it's
Oh
tea break
really?
time.
You want to sell us stuff? But our adverts are louder than the TV programs. It's like they're shouting after you. It's like, well, while you're sitting there taking your shit, remember you need to buy Ligs deodorant. Like, what the fuck?
I think all commercials do that because they figure you're walking away.
Oh, just.
Yeah, this is why the DVR has been the best invention since sliced bread. You record your show, and then when the commercials come on, you just fast forward through them.
Oh yeah. See, I say recently, in the last 5-6 years, we've been gifted your wonderful magic, which is known as TiVo. We've had it for Sky boxes and stuff like that, but we've actually got on Virgin Media the actual TiVo. So you've got the thumbs up, the thumbs down, and the skip the shit button. It's wonderful. Random, I know, but hey. Anyway, so anybody else watched anything else?
I dragged a friend to see Guardians of the Galaxy because for whatever reason she hadn't seen it yet.
Shocking behavior.
I know. So I first I'm coming after you, Alan. If you say yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Come to
I've not
England
seen
just to
some of
show
this.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
So
I've
she
not seen
saw it for the
Guardians of
first
the
time,
Galaxy,
and I
I've
saw
not
it for the
seen
fourth
the
time in
Turtles
theaters.
film either, and I want to watch those. So yeah. That's the fact that I've still not seen Thor or the second Thor, but I did have a little sex-y on the extended Avengers 2 trailer.
You had a what with
A
the trailer?
A little sex-y. It's wonderful.
I still don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't even know.
It's not an Englishism.
Nobody gets
Okay.
all that reference. No.
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 Okay, never mind. That clearly doesn't translate. So, one thing that I've done this week is I've started listening to more audiobooks, right? And I don't normally do that, but one, it's really helped my stress levels, and two, it's fucked 3 films for me, right? The most recent books that I read and really loved was the Hunger Games series. Absolutely loved them, and I love how I was given 11 hours to fall in love with the fuck up that is Katniss in the first book, and then I've gone all the way through to Mockingjay, right? But then I watched the first film of the Hunger Games, and I can't help but feel that it's like the entire book on fast forward, right?
I agree with that.
The book's given, granted, I can now understand why they can make 3 films, maybe 4 films out of The Hobbit, because so much detail. And the first Hunger Games book, you get her narrating every detail. So the first third of the book is her explaining why she hates her ginger cat, hunting and stuff like that, all the way up to being picked, or not being picked, you know. But the film, 2 hours and 20 minutes, just seemed hollow. And I got to the end of the first film, and I didn't care about Katniss at all. Right? And I'm just like, okay. So I watched the second one last night, Catching Fire. That's better, including, go back and watch the first film, right? The ginger cat isn't ginger, it's black and white, right? And then in the second film, it's like they got bitched at, right? So literally a minute and a half into the actual film, she walks into her village and there's a ginger cat that hisses at her. It's like, we're sorry, we got it wrong. Here you go, have the ginger cat. But now I've got to see the second film I was happier with because it seemed, although it was still the books fast forwarded, they still paid attention to the little things that I liked a bit more, like Hamish being a drunk, the nuances between them all, the fights in the battle arena, which they still got wrong. Little things like that. It's just maybe this is because this is the first time I've actually read a series before ever watching the film. Because the only other time I've done that was Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials. If anyone knows that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The issues with His Dark Materials is that it's 3 books, and the concept is that pretty much kids grow up and become less innocent as they grow up because there is an almighty power.
There's angels and demons and multiple universes, and it's really fucked up, but really awesome at the same time. I really enjoyed reading it. I've seen they haven't done a film adaptation of that yet, have they?
They tried. They did The Golden Compass.
The Golden Compass, which was not.
Oh, that was awful.
But the Americans,
Yeah.
the Bible Belt went ballistic at the concept of, not to spoil it for anyone, the idea is somewhere along the line, it's you versus the Almighty, and the Almighty might die, right? So let's translate that into real life for the Bible Belt. So little girl doesn't like being innocent and then goes to kill God. So they had to rip it all out. I mean, it had a wonderful cast.
Daniel Craig.
You had James Bond man, can't remember his name.
Daniel Craig.
You just said it.
You had Daniel Craig. So you've got some wonderful cast, but they fucked it that nobody cared by the end of it. They rearranged the last 2 sequences, and then Pullman, the writer, just went, I'm sorry, and it didn't gross anywhere near as much as it should do. You fast forward 5-10 years, and you've got the Hunger Games and Harry Potter and stuff like that. And what's the other one? Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson.
You know, they now know that looking at books and book adaptations can make them money, but sadly, I don't think they'll go back and make The Golden Compass. And that upset me as well.
The thing with His Dark Materials is they made an absolutely amazing theatre production, which was split into 1.5 books per theatre production, so a full 3-hour show. And then you had to come back a second night, but they made it an all-inclusive story. So I watched just the second half, and not the first half, because that was all our school could afford. You could afford to do one trip with 30 students one week, and then the next day, 30 students watch the other half. Which led to some interesting conversations. But it was, Stratford-upon-Avon, it was amazingly acted. The production value was extraordinary because it's got all of the, they used all these amazing puppeteering for the demons, which is like, basically in His Dark Materials, in one universe, you kind of have your spirit animal is it's incarnate. So
your soul's kind of like a...
Yeah, you basically have a representation of your soul that wanders around it as an animal, and when you're a child, it changes every couple of minutes, and when you become an adult, it settles down into one form. And it's like it's a really nice concept, and the puppeteering on that was amazing. So if they could do a decent adaptation with like an actual understanding what the book's about, it would be amazing. But I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Well, yeah, as I look at the Hunger Games, there's nothing controversial as such. And I must admit, right, and I bashed the idea of the Hunger Games before as an American remake of Battle Royale, and that was before I read the books. I would highly advise anyone that hasn't read them or hasn't seen the film, even though I've just spent a little while bashing them. It's a good series, and it's the concept of the battle is similar but not identical, and it's well worth watching. But I think maybe it's the fact that you've got Hollywood that's got hold of it and want to push it more towards teen kids, young adults, that they've streamlined certain things, like, not to ruin things, it's kind of like a love triangle, and in the books it's a very awkward love triangle. Whilst I've watched the first 2 films, and the third film's going to be split into 2 parts, like the Harry Potter thingy.
Like every other film.
Like everything now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they're making it a little bit less simple, which, due to the lack of narration, because it's not a book, you're missing so many little nuances and little characters. Once again, this is the first time I've ever done book to film, so maybe that's normal, and I'm being ultra picky because I've become really attached to these 3 books, and I've never had that experience before, and I'm just like, no, you've cut off like 9 hours of film, you cunts. Just go back and do it proper. Do it faithful, line for line, right? And I want a narrator, which has to be Alison Hannigan, the voice, and just.
That's the thing, though. It's most book adaptations these days that are talked about normally are intended for younger audiences, whether that be Harry Potter for children, or like Twilight, or like the Hunger Games and all that. They're all for like teenagers, young adults, children, and you kind of need to simplify things like that for them to even be remotely interested normally in a film. So that kind of comes with it.
The grey area that the characters lived in throughout most of the books can't really be portrayed on screen in the way that I hoped they had, because the books live pretty much in Katniss's head. Her doubting herself, her worrying, I'm intrigued what the 3rd and 4th films will be like, because the 2 main characters, I don't think it's a spoiler, it won't ruin the film, but both of them are supposed to have mental difficulties. I'm intrigued to see how those will be played out in the concept of trauma, because a few things have already been negated. Like in Catching Fire, she's supposed to be deaf in her left ear by the end of the 1st book, but then recovered by the start of the 2nd, but that didn't happen in the film. So that
He had both of his legs in the 2nd movie. Like, that was always weird to me.
Well, yeah, at the end of the 1st, he's supposed to have a prosthetic.
Yeah.
That's why he stumbles through the woods and gets caught by the mist, or near enough, right?
Yeah.
But, no. So, little things like that, I don't see why did you change that? That hasn't changed the storyline, and that would explain the additional trauma that the character will go through, right? If you've gone through an explosion and nearly lost your hearing, that's traumatizing. If you've gone through an explosion and then been able to run away from it, that's less traumatizing. So, granted, it's still a nightmare. There's 20 odd people.
I'm pretty sure she's still traumatized, and I'm pretty sure they showed that pretty well in the beginning of Catching Fire, with her like hunting or whatever in the woods with Gale.
As I said, the 2nd film I feel is much better.
And we have a Buffy alum actor writing the final 2 installments of Mockingjay, so I'm excited for that.
Ooh.
Jonathan. Danny Strong, who played Jonathan in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So excited.
See, I like the fact that the 2nd film was definitely darker. Although, how can you go from it's a death arena, killing one in theory, in which they're doing it in a rather... See, the concept, I love the concept, right? I am aware that it's really fucked up. For people that aren't aware necessarily of the concept, it's 24 kids thrown into the arena, which is a giant battle arena, and everyone watches it like a reality TV show, and you have to kill each other, or run away and try and survive whilst the game tries to kill you, right? I think that's fantastic, right? You'd have to sign a waiver, dear idiot, right? You agree to go on the Hunger X Games factor, whatever, right?
Try not to sue us when you're dead.
You know, if you win, you will have a lifetime supply of anything that you ever want constantly, right? I think that's a clever. Granted, in the books, it's very much more control than entertainment. Maybe that's why it's slightly more cringy. But I think via population, what we should be able to do is if anyone becomes a celebrity, we give them the right to do anything they want, but randomly, there's a bowl every year that people pick names out of, right? And they go into the arena. So this week, or this year, in District 12, we have
Shia LaBeouf.
Justin Bieber! Whoa!
Shia LaBeouf versus Justin Bieber. How would that go there?
Shia LaBeouf would eat him.
Because he's an actual cannibal.
Yeah. I think a film that you would be really interested in, Alan, is one of my colleagues loaned it to me. It wasn't really not one of my favorite films of all time, but it's an interesting concept. It's called Gamer, and it stars Gerald Butler before he got cool. He's like little hipster Gerald Butler.
He's Scottish. He's always been cool.
And the guy who plays Dexter is the main villain, and basically the concept is there's like a chip, which means that if it gets implanted into someone, that someone else can control them if they're within a set boundary. So prisoners who are on death row can get implanted with this chip, and then they kind of like deathmatch each other, like being controlled by teenagers, and deathmatch each other live on TV. And if they survive, I think it's 7 rounds or something, then they get out of jail free. But they have to survive 7 rounds, being controlled by teenagers, and they're real people. And then it's an option. It's an option for people who are not on death row to take part as kind of NPCs, where they're not controlled at all. They just have some basic settings and wander around in this death zone.
That sounds
and
fun.
There's also like Gerald Butler's wife. She basically is like in the adult version of Sims, so you can volunteer to be part of. I think it's like I can't remember what it's like. It's like Half-Life or not Half-Life. I can't remember what the name of the type of thing is, but Second Life. Yeah. Where you volunteer and then you basically act where you get implanted with a chip, and then people can play you. But in this sort of sim environment, it leads to a lot of really, really creepy sexual assault. And it's a really screwed film, but I think you might enjoy it.
Sounds funky.
I think you probably would enjoy it too.
Especially after you said that second part.
Yeah, all of a sudden sexual assault. Alan's in on that one! Thanks, people.
Well,
Live
you
on the
did make a
internet.
comment earlier about raping all parts of the internet, so I feel like that was fair.
Not literally. I'm just like a really friendly virus.
That's not a good thing. I have not seen the second Hunger Game film, by the way.
It's on Netflix now.
Is it?
Yeah.
British Netflix?
Indeed it is. That's where I watched it last night.
Last night I watched for the first time ever the Captain America film, the second one.
Sounds
Yeah, I actually just watched that one earlier this week for the first time. So it was really good. I don't think it was as good as everybody said it was.
I think everyone was just happy that it was so much better than the first one.
Yes, definitely.
See, I loved the first one. I don't know why everybody hated it so much.
I liked the first one. I've avoided Thor, though.
Oh, don't do that. How dare you?
I think
Watch Thor. The first one's okay. The second one is a lot better.
I'm tempted to watch
Really?
them chronologically,
I
do
think
a Marvel weekend and just go from all of the origin stories into Avengers and then wait for that giant Hulk buster in Avengers 2.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
I'm
Also,
thinking...
on the extended trailer, you've got Downey Jr. or Tony Stark trying to pick up the Thor hammer.
Yeah.
All of them trying to pick up the Thor hammer.
And then you see
Fucking
Captain
great.
America just budget a wee bit. It's like, oh shit.
I thought that was great.
Yeah. No, but definitely the second Thor film is much better than the first one.
See,
Okay.
I'm
Not
also
sure I
tempted
agree
by,
with that.
Really? Ooh,
I'm the odd one out here.
I'm also tempted by the rumours that well, first of all, what I like about the trailer is that you get to see. If anyone's not seen the trailer, then I'm not giving away the spoilers anyway. You see them kind of
Okay.
bitching between each other, and I like that idea. And then they've released the filming timelines, and you're going to get to see. Don't get me wrong, I've not read any of the comics, but as far as I understand it, the Civil War is Captain America's side versus Tony Stark's side. These are the only films that Iron Man are now going to be in, because Iron Man's not getting a fourth. He's only showing up in the Avenger films, or the equivalent thereof. And he's also, however, possibly being signed up to the DC universe.
Because that makes sense.
No.
I don't want
I
it.
think
No.
Downey Jr., not Iron Man,
Okay.
Downey Jr. will be playing a DC character, I believe, at some point. I can't remember. But that was floating around the net as well. So
That's one way to get like, views rather than actual like. I'm really enthusiastic about it. It's a lot of like people like, I want to see what it's gonna be like. This is gonna be weird.
Well, that's one way of getting people who think it's the fourth Iron Man film to go see your film.
Well, see, I think Robert Downey Jr. is going to relook this idea of coming back to Iron Man, particularly since, like, the movie he was just in, The Judge, like, didn't do at all well at the box office. It's going to be kind of a wake-up call. He's going to realize, people weren't coming to Iron Man to see Robert Downey Jr. They were coming to Iron Man to see Iron Man, and he's not the box office.
I don't know. RDJ really is Tony Stark. I feel like.
No.
Well, I think he played the part really well. I just think, that's not going to translate to other movies.
well, the rumor is that they're going to recast or replace Captain America anyway. Thor dies soon.
Yeah.
In the comics and becomes female.
Yeah, that's what I don't think he's going to get a fourth film either. Ragnarok is the third Thor film. If you know anything or know much about the Norse mythology and the comic book line, Ragnarok is essentially the end of all things.
Yeah, it's the end of days, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, where people die.
Ragnarok translates as Nordic Armageddon, I think.
Yeah, essentially.
So, but the interesting thing about that is that they've listed films out to something like 2020. So we've got a good. It would be great, when I'm old and grey. When I'm older and greyer, I'll be able to go back and watch 25 films in a series.
Yeah.
There's never been anything like that. I mean, horror films, good old 80s ones tap out at 8, 9, 10. But these, I can see them being entertaining because you can watch them branch together and branch out, and I think that's an amazingly clever way. But that also screams Disney, and I was worried that when Disney got hold of Marvel that they would fuck it in the arse.
That's what Disney's known for, fucking in the ass.
Exclusively.
There would be the Avengers and there would be Goofy. Just for no reason. There happens to be Ray William Johnson in the background because make a studio and all, just for no reason.
There'll be Harold the Duck and Donald Duck having a party.
Having said that, right, if you was to recast anyone as Iron Man, I think Ray William Johnson could do it. Ray William Johnson as Iron Man, fucking. He's got the cunt element to him. I think that'd work.
Get Shay Carl as Thor because he's got the beard to do it.
Just do a fully YouTuber cast.
Yeah, why not? That'd be cool.
Meg Turney is Black Widow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Done that cosplay.
Got the costume. Yeah.
I don't think anyone would kind of complain about her climbing in that suit again, to be honest.
I certainly wouldn't.
No.
We could have Steve Zaragoza as Hulk.
Oh.
The kindest, sweetest, like, sword
I know
spell.
it's into Hulk smash.
No.
Hmm. So what do you think about all the other different Marvel films coming out, like Doctor Strange and Iron and Ant-Man and all that, all the castings? for them?
I've not heard from a non-comic book fan perspective. I have no idea who they are, and there may be others that have the same thing. So they'll either be brilliant, like Guardians of the Galaxy came out of absolutely nowhere. In fact, the film's supposedly done better than they ever expected it to do, and got a bigger audience than the comics ever received. Or they'll come out and they'll fall flat on their face, and then, oh well, out of 35 films we've made in 10 years, we can forget 2 or 3, but it depends on. They did very cleverly lace everyone together for the Avengers, and then they kind of give each other pushes. So you never know, there may be a nod or a wink in one of the collective films that kind of go, well, go and check out, because
Yeah.
Stark showed up in Captain America.
I think there'll just be runoff audience. Like, people love Guardians of the Galaxy, alright, they're gonna go see Ant-Man. Probably.
Yeah.
Not
I
all,
think-
but a lot.
Like, Marvel have the advantage that even though their heroes are relatively well known, they're not as iconic as any of the DC. Like, the DC heroes have got such a strong cultural background that everyone has their own interpretation of what Superman is like or what Batman is like, depending on what version of the character they've read, and they've had so many different iterations that there's everyone who knows about these characters, which is everyone, has their own opinion on how the character should be, while the Marvel heroes, yes, people do know of them, but because they're less well known, the audience can come in completely fresh without any sort of ingrained thoughts about what the characters could be. So I think nobody knows much about Doctor Strange. Nobody knew much about Thor or Iron Man before the films came out. And they were awesome because we didn't have that sort of background. Sorry, random.
That's okay. I mean, I can't name as many DC as Marvel, but maybe that's because Disney's better at
Marketing.
their
Advertising.
product.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I think the
they're
reasons.
currently juggling in 2 films alone enough main characters and big name actors to stink up a film, but they've done it properly. I mean, how many times have you seen a blockbuster come out and gone, look, there's 20 people in this that you should know, Shrek the 5th, right? And they're just terrible films, right? But with the Avengers and the individual movies, you're able to juggle them. Whilst DC, I can name Batman, Superman,
Robin, Wonder Woman, The Flash.
The Flash.
Man,
Anybody
Um,
from the
yeah.
Justice League.
I see Batman and Robin kind of, that's actually just Batman with a sidekick.
What about
Well, I think-
Aquaman?
Also, DC has
Is
better
Aquaman
villains.
DC? Is
Well.
that something you really want to brag about? I
Hey,
mean,
the guy that's playing him now, Jason Momoa. You do not want to make fun of Aquaman anymore. Trust me.
Oh, I wish
Aquaman's
Q was
badass.
here because she likes herself a bit of Khal Drogo.
Oh yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
that on a completely related note to that comment, but not related to the specific chat, and vaguely related to the Hunger Game book things. If I read the Game of Thrones books, will that ruin the Game of Thrones TV?
No.
No.
View each adaptation as separate entities. It's a different experience reading the books to watching the series. I read the books after watching the first 2 seasons, and I was able to, like, I picture the characters as very, very different. I have very different visuals internally of what I view the book characters to be like to what they turn out in the TV series. Like, that all of the characters look, sound, feel very different to me.
I
But
would agree
there
with
is
that.
something fantastic about once you've read the books, like ahead of where the series is, and then you read the series and you get the reference, you rewatch the series and you get the references in advance. That is a wonderful feeling. But don't get too hooked up on the plot because they do take things out and change things. It's all very first person, and there's a lot of stuff that obviously they don't have space for in the series. So view it as separate entities, but definitely if you want to read it, it's worth reading.
Okay, because obviously compared to say a book in audiobook form, because it was easier for me to multitask. Me sitting there with a book is a bitch for running a business, but I can email and do stuff whilst listening to an audiobook. So 11 hours of audiobook crammed into 2 hours of film on the Hunger Games pissed me off. Whilst the Game of Thrones is
It's
an
enormous.
hour-based series with what 14, 15 episodes a season. So at least that way, and I think they're doing half a book a series as well. Is that
They
right?
started, the first season was one book, I think the second season was one book, and now they're doing, about half a book per season.
Yeah, because they
Okay.
realised that George R. R. Martin's very, very slow at writing books.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his
And
books are like
that's-
this thick.
Well, to be fair, the books
Okay,
are
but
like
that's the really annoying thing about reading them.
I'm not.
Yeah, I guess, we could all band up together and tell him to write books quicker, but he would just tell us to go fuck ourselves.
Exactly.
He would.
He's done that recently,
But
I
see-
believe.
Quicker.
For me, that can be the death of my interest in the series. Like, the show will keep me interested, but for me, that's what happened with Harry Potter. It was like, I read the first Harry Potter book when I was in grade 4. The last one didn't come out till I was, like, done college, or the last movie didn't come out till I was done college, and it was, like, too much space between everything that I lost interest. To be fair, I'm going back. I've read the first one. I'm reading this. I'm going to reread the whole series and then watch the movies all together. So maybe I can get more of an appreciation for it because I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I never lost interest. I think I read the first one when I was, I think also, grade 4. I read like the first 2 at the same time and then was hooked on them. The agony of waiting for the next book, and then the movie started coming out. But I never wavered. I was constantly like, get the book at midnight, see the midnight show.
Yeah.
I
did that up until like the 4th book.
I listened. I think the first one I read, I didn't actually read. It was Stephen Fry read it out live on Radio 4. And J.K. Rowling said, yes, you can read it out, but there can't be any adverts, there can't be any interruptions. It has to be the whole book, completely unedited. You can't edit it for CD. So it had Stephen Fry reading out for, I think it was like 12 hours straight,
That's
live
amazing.
on Radio 4. And it was amazing. And we recorded it, I think, on like 14, like, proper, like, audio cassette tapes, which I listened to
that's awesome.
for years.
So cool.
So I can, like, I used to be able to reel off the first chapter off by heart. It's like, Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive. We're very happy to say they were perfectly normal, thank you very much.
Did you like?
And, like,
Did you hear him get like dry mouth within like 4 hours at some point?
I think that there was occasional moments where you, like, hear him drinking. Or maybe he did some pre-recording, but it was amazing. And I listened to that a lot. And then I think that must have been when I was about maybe 9, because I remember not wanting to listen to it because I'd been told that Harry Potter was scary, and that I was scared that I would get scared. And so I remember hiding in my bedroom the whole day while we were playing it super loud throughout the house for the entire thing in order to record it, and hiding in my bedroom to try not to listen. And then I think I listened to it for the first time when I was like 10, and then on repeat. And then I just read the books as they came out, but my sisters had to read them first. So we'd get first editions, midnight release first edition books, but then both my sisters would read it first, and then my mum, and then me.
Nice.
I'll be honest, I never actually read them ever before. My dad read them all to me. Like,
That's
when I was-
nice.
I'm finally reading them for real.
Aww.
Speaking of Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe has a new film coming out today in UK.
Is it where he raps on Jimmy Fallon for no reason?
Yes, it's a movie now.
Yeah, Horns.
Horns. Yes, I've seen trailers. I've also seen a clip involving I can't remember what the name of the girl in that is, but you can see all of her boobs.
Oh,
All of them, all
Excellent.
3 of them.
Yes, a collection of breasts. You can see each one.
Yeah, she just takes them out of the rucksack every now and then. I have no idea where that came from. That's in the back of my head somewhere.
I just
Anywho.
pictured a bunch of idiots in her basement, like boobs isn't.
I like that.
I was thinking chicken breasts. Like she had to, like she was doing some cooking,
She's a chef.
and then she gets all with Daniel Radcliffe, and it's a weird clip. I don't think I'm going to watch that film, but it looks interesting. It definitely looks like Daniel Radcliffe's like, I'm not in Harry Potter anymore. I shall do violence and gore and sex type things. I'm not a young boy.
I like
Didn't he do a naked Broadway show with a horse?
Yeah, Equus.
Yeah, like
He
weird.
also did a Hammer horror film last year, wasn't it?
Yes, he
The
did.
Woman in Black.
Woman in Black, yeah.
I think the reason he's grown that beard as well is it's really bad. It's appallingly bad camouflage, but it's Harry Potter camouflage. It's like, look, if I grow what looks like pubes for no reason, and just glue them to my face, people might still. No, it just doesn't work. It just
I
doesn't.
Well,
think
it's kind
he
of
looks
like,
alright.
It's like Emma Watson cutting all her hair off as soon as Harry Potter was done filming. You know, it's
Had to have that hair from what? The age of 11 to after her virginity. I mean, that's got to be a nightmare. Because the first boyfriend who was in that rock band, he weren't doing Emma Watson. He wasn't. Come on. He was clearly just going, Expelliarmus all over her face for no reason. There's just.
Wouldn't you
Oh
mean
dear.
Oh
She's
my.
going down a dark road.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be darker, so, I mean.
Welcome back, Alan. How's it going, buddy? Yeah. I don't know.
Liam, you're supposed to be moderating this.
I barely didn't hear this.
It'd be like, no more Expelliarmus.
No more.
Expelliarmus retractus!
Expected Patronus in your own time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Is the film already out in America? Just now, Horns.
Horse?
I don't think it's out yet.
I
Don't
Um,
think so.
I think it's got limited release because it's like an indie film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out today. Yeah. I don't know if I'm confusing Horns with John Wick. I know that you guys are getting one of those two things. I know they're very similar, right?
I think John
Yeah,
Wick
they
is
sound like really equivalent budgets.
Yeah.
Like,
But I know either one of those films you guys have it much earlier than we get it.
Yeah, Wick came out last week. I haven't seen it yet, but it's gotten a lot of buzz. It looks kind of good.
Yeah.
So
it looks good in a it's so stupid, go with your friends, have fun sort of way.
I love the trailer. I'm sorry, I just laughed for 2 minutes. It was hilarious, and I watched it again. And I think it comes out here in February,
Really?
which is ridiculous. We get it after France. Why?
You guys must have terrible piracy issues. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine waiting like half a year for a movie to come out when everybody else has already seen it.
Oh, yeah.
And they wonder why we really love our internet connections in the UK.
Yeah.
Like the Muppet movie, I was really freaking excited to see the Muppet movie, and then it came out like 5 months
Yep.
before, like came out 5-6 months before the UK got it, and I just gave up. Like I couldn't even be
It's
asked
so
to go to the
good.
cinema.
But
I
we
still haven't
noticed
seen it.
by the time it arrived as well, because America initially had it as Muppets Most Wanted,
Mhm.
and we
That's
just
the,
like Muppets 2.
that's the one that just came out. Yeah.
The fact that we I was waiting for the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. Right, you guys had that like a 2 months before, 3 months before we did. Have I seen it yet? No.
Yeah.
Would I like?
Don't go to
Fair.
theaters to see
Make
it.
them. So it's kind of natural that we get them first.
No. No.
I just like. It's not like we have to mail the film across the ocean. Like you transfer it digitally.
What
We
we,
have
we
to-
should do is alphabetical order,
Walk it to
starting
England.
with
Yes.
the motherland. So it goes England.
No, you still lose. You
Albania,
still lose because America,
America's-
then United Kingdom somewhere way down the list.
Exactly.
But United States of America is
Yeah, so
technically
it
what
would
you'd
be
be
you.
under.
United States of and England,
United States,
Scotland,
it's America. Everybody knows where America is. Everybody knows what America is.
except for
Yeah,
America.
but technically
It's such a
Canadians
big
are
landmass.
Americans, North Americans.
North
so.
Americans.
Yeah,
that's-
but we're Americans, so we have co-opted the entire term America to mean United States. 'Cause that's
We're just
the
your chapeau.
You're just a lovely hat.
Yeah.
You know, have we all seen Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know the first sequence where he's escaped from prison and then he swims to England. Is that how the movies get to England? Like someone has to swim the tape.
Yep, that's exactly how it happens.
What actually truly happens is Edward Snowden slowly leaks them via WikiLeaks, and everyone gets really upset and pissed off, and Bill Gates ignores the world and makes an Xbox, and that's generally how films get to the British Isles. Either that or someone smuggles it in with their latest case of deadly disease. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I just like the idea that it's lost in transit. Like, so sorry, Guardians of the Galaxy. It's gonna have to be postponed for 5 months.
Yeah.
It's just
Somewhere
held up at
around-
customs. You get one of those stupid little labels that says, "Sorry, sender didn't put enough postage on this. Please come down, fill in a stupid form. We might release it, but
Like my tracking number shows it's almost there.
we checked the package and it claims that it contains Hershey's Kisses, but it actually includes 2 baboons and a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles."
Sorry, UK, this film was delivered to a different address. It was delivered to France before you.
Yeah.
Another reason to not like. We need to get a French person in here to defend themselves before I finish that sentence.
Yeah.
I don't
think
think
you'll get
that's possible.
French defense from any of us.
Put a French person in here to defend themselves, they'd probably end up surrendering in the first 10 minutes anyway. So
The one time.
Not if they were from Quebec.
It's like one Frenchman that decided to tune it. It's like, oh, I think watch the back.
Our only viewer is a French.
We'll just go to the cliche bag and just pull out a whore. That's fine.
I think I will watch the movie club hangout where I eat my baguette.
Smoke your cigarette and drink your wine and twirl your mustache.
He's an 11-year-old
Eat some onion.
boy. He's an 11-year-old boy. I think I will watch the movie club hangout tonight. So sorry.
2 steps away from just a giant necklace of onions, like
Yeah, it's
stuffed
supposed to be
with cheese
shit.
in his face.
Okay,
You
what
know.
is the onion thing?
It's like a,
Yeah.
I don't understand it either.
Is that when they join the chat, it would actually say that Movie Club invites Cheese Eater Surrender Monkey. Wonderful!
Maybe we should get away from the racism for the evening.
yeah, maybe.
Forever Jacques, forever Jacques.
I love you, France. I wish to visit you someday.
It's aight.
Those
Yes.
what's weird is when you watch anime and you get. Sorry,
Sorry.
I was watching an anime and it had a French character, but they were speaking Japanese, but they were French, so that they would be just like saying Japanese and then occasionally add like Frère Jacques or
Bonjour.
Bonjour. And it's
that
the
is
weirdest thing ever, and then they'll have a
They're
full
like-
like it was weird. It was really weird.
Je m'appelle le fromage.
My name is Cheese.
Your name is Cheese.
Yeah.
Really?
That's my remedial French. I even got that from remedial French.
I passed French with an A. I'll have you know.
I got the
Immediately
one of
forgot
the
all
really
of it.
improved in modern languages, aka I learnt enough French to pass.
I took French for 9 years.
That's what you get for
I
getting
only took it for.
out of Canada.
I can't speak French.
I can't do that.
Immediately wiped out of my brain as soon as
Yeah.
I graduated.
See, I'm when I was at school, there was loads of words, and then I started that sentence. When I was at school, I completely ignored languages. But now I'm old. I would love to go back and actually truly learn a language. I'd love to. I was one book I read recently is 13 Little Blue Envelopes, and I blame Maureen Johnson for this one. The concept of that book is a girl's aunt disappears after getting a brain tumour, fucks off, being a completely shit aunt, but before she dies, she writes 13 little blue envelopes, and these are pretty much breadcrumb trails across Europe. Maureen Johnson's a friend author like John Green, so very teen. But you get to watch her, or listen, and follow her around Europe. But one of the cards is she's gone from like to Italy into France, and she, I just love that idea. And even John Green in one of his vlogs says that if you read this book, you'll end up wanting to go around Europe. But it just highlighted the fact that I'd really, really love to learn a language and then just fuck off to that country for 6 months or so,
Yeah.
and not be a tourist, but I just try and find a place to rent, try and understand a local French market, learn how to cook French foods, interact with the culture. I'd love that. The only problem is money. And money.
And time.
Yeah, I want to do the same thing. I'm starting to learn Gaelic.
Yeah.
Or are you going to move further north?
The dead land.
Sorry, bad joke. Continue with Hangout.
Live on one of the little islands and be like, yes,
Yeah.
I'm communing with the locals.
I would like to learn
All
about
we do is hunt haggis. All we do is hunt haggis.
with our
Hunt haggis. Because haggis,
Yep. That's how
haggis
it's done.
there's a haggis bird that just walks around with legs and a little hat,
Mammal.
just full of lamb for no reason.
Alan, don't talk about what you don't know. Haggis is a three-legged mammal.
Yes, it's related to a cup pig, isn't it? Like it's that sort of level of species, and yeah, it's very round.
It can't go on hills or it can't go downhill. It will get wonderfully disorientated.
Yeah, poor things
That's
get dizzy.
That's how we catch them. With our hand hunting hammers. Yeah, moving on to films, right?
And they're only available around about January. Just in time for Burns Night. They crawl out of whatever cave stroke nest egg thing they live in.
The giant pile of kilts.
Yeah. they're like mothballs, but made of haggis.
Yeah.
Now I can just
Oh.
picture Anak McFeagle riding a haggis.
No, the haggis ride the Highland cows.
Oh.
Anyway, Doctor Strange being played by Benedict Cumberbatch. What's that like?
Ugh. I'm so bored.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my feelings.
That was like the complete opposite reaction I was expecting.
No, I don't find him particularly alluring anyways, and I just feel like that was such an obvious choice, therefore it's a boring choice, and I feel like he's in everything right now.
He's the
Yeah,
new-
he's having his heyday.
So like calm the fuck down.
Like, I'm sure he'll be fabulous in it.
I'm
But,
sure he'll be okay. He's a good actor, but I feel like it's sort of like, what was it, 2005, 2006, when Jude Law had like 5 movies come out all at once, and I think collectively as society
Yeah.
got really sick of him.
Well, they've got to film
starting
the
to feel
gap
like it needs a
that
comfort break.
every Bruce Willis film and anyone in the Expendables, right? Anyone in the Expendables used to release easily 2 to 3 films each every year. So if all of those are in one film, in their own little cage over there, then you have to fill it with Benedict Cumberbatch penis. I mean, there's not many other, But having said that, you've got Hiddleston, what's his
Hiddleston.
place, right? He hasn't done that,
He hasn't.
Maybe that's why just the pure mention of his name gets women to do that face.
Well, there are a lot of reasons for that face, but I think there is something to be said about not. This is not what I'm trying to say, but I can't think of another word. Overexposing yourself to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
It's a little too much. Go away. Give us time to miss you, and then come back.
Yeah.
You don't want to penetrate the scene too much because it gets sore.
Alan.
He's playing Shere Khan in the new Jungle Book film that's coming out in 2016.
Ooh. He
Cumberbatch.
does have a sexy acting voice, I've got to say. Like, I rewatched The Hobbit 2 with my sister, and there's a lot of stuff we skip in that because, like, my sister is, like, the hardcorest of hardcore, like, Lord of the Rings fans, and so she starts watching and she's literally like, that's from the wrong generation, this does not work. This, like, look at the maps, at this point in the timeline they're meant to be here.
And at that point, you pause the DVD, you slap her in the face, and then you press.
Oh.
I get equally frustrated with, like, when I'm watching it and I'm like, this is, I can feel the filler. All that's happening here is just filler. I don't need this romance that's completely unnecessary. Yes, woo, female character, but she's just there as a love interest. Like, she doesn't have a personality. She's just a love interest who could handle a bow very well. Thank you very much. There's a lot of stuff in that film that really bores me, but when I get to the Smaug scenes, I'm like, oh yeah, this is freaking awesome. Like, no matter how much of that film I skip, if I just get to those last sequences, I'm like, worth it. Completely worth it.
Yeah, I think at some point, once all 3 of them have finally come out, hopefully I'll be able to cut all the extraneous stuff out of there, and there'll actually be a valid, good, 2.5-hour movie in there. Or
Condense it to one film.
Yeah. It's kind of like, instead of the extended edition, we need, like, the limited edition.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like that. Like, just cut out the barrel thing, because that was...
Yeah, the barrel scene.
The barrel scene and the whole action
Romance.
sequence with the dragon at the end. I liked it when it was just, Bilbo, he had the conversation with Smaug, and then
Yeah.
Smaug went out and destroyed the town. That was good for me. I didn't need all the dwarves running around and,
Melted giant statue.
Is that because they looked at it and went, right, we've had the Lord of the Rings trilogy, we need to make the Hobbit trilogy, and just went, right, we'll make one book, stretch 20 hours, it'll be fine.
I think it was that. They wanted the box office results. They wanted the third movie to make the money. That's my cynical, opinion. But yeah, it definitely didn't need to be three movies. They could have done it in 2. They did an animated one back in like the late '80s.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
remember that, yeah.
which is really
That
good.
was so good. The
It was just-
rotoscoping.
And it's like an hour and a half long, and they tell everything they need to tell. So
Yeah.
I'd like
And
to
it
say
scared the crap
just
out of
1
me.
second and highlight Kiwi's opinion, right, seeing she's not here, which is, don't pick on our films. It happens to be a national treasure.
And
Ever has anything to do with Lord of the Rings is sacrosanct and absolutely perfect.
Speaking of which, he was a better Bruce Wayne anyway.
Hashtag meta, hashtag 50 Shades of Grey.
Hashtag Jane Austen.
Are we just hashtagging everything now?
Can I just say that earlier, if I looked really confused, it's because there's an empty house next door, and I can see it right through the window that's directly in front of me. And somebody in a Davy Crockett raccoon hat opened the door and had a flashlight and was looking around in there.
Is that
And I'm
what
really not sure what was going on with that, because nobody lives there.
Instead of ski masks in Canada, they have raccoon hats.
Raccoon hat, yeah.
Highly ineffective in hiding her identity.
Well, I couldn't see his face, so.
Well, you're so busy staring at
depends
the
on how
hat
many
that you don't pay
people.
attention to the face.
Exactly.
Like,
You're like, is that a
like-
raccoon tail hanging from your head?
If it's the standard in Canada to wear a raccoon hat, then you can't tell one person wearing a raccoon hat from another person wearing a raccoon hat.
Blending in very well, yes.
Yeah, it's just molding with the background of other raccoon hats.
I like the idea that like, a
Camouflage.
person with a ski mask goes into a house and you guys don't mind it because he's not wearing a raccoon hat.
Well, see, if a person walks into your business or house in a ski mask, you just assume it's a cold day.
Yeah. A raccoon hat is like arrested on the spot.
Yeah.
You've done something, I know you have.
It's the Canadian equivalent of a giant black and white T-shirt and a giant bag that just says swag on it. It's just.
No, we have people wearing swag here too.
So, yeah, but swag now means something completely different. I'd like to highlight that this is 80s swag, which means stolen goods, not swag as in bullshit that slap everyone that ever uses it as some kind of bling, right?
Gangsta swag.
No.
No, it's all on t-shirts now, it's never on bling. Don't be
What if you wore a ski mask that said swag across your face?
We can slap you so hard that you might wake up and realise you're a dickhead.
Maybe though.
I'm going to just start selling them then.
Yeah,
Whoever
this is our business plan.
swag as some kind of bling thing, right? First of all, I'm going to hunt down whoever invented the word bling, right, and give him the same treatment as well. But anyone that invented the word swag or has used it, Justin Bieber, right, should be castrated, right?
But I
And
assume
then
it's alright if
grow
they use
up
it
onto a
ironically. Yes?
Yeah.
Because
But I don't think you're supposed to say bling anymore. I think you're supposed to say shine now.
What? Where?
I-
Wrong.
Where?
I
Who
don't.
said that? Who said
Really?
that?
I've been, yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert.
I haven't heard that.
You
But I
just
don't say-
in other words,
Why
you're-
can't
you're
you
not-
just say jewelry?
It's like throwing shade. Like these terms, I feel like I'm getting really old because these terms come up like basic, and I'm like, what does this even mean? It doesn't mean anything.
Basic means
I had
exactly
to-
what it sounds like.
Like, I had to-
That's why I'm lucky that I don't have kids, right? Because if I had kids and they started saying things that are clearly made up bullshit that shouldn't exist in life, I would be done for so many levels of slapping my kid. It's just like, stop talking shit!
But then again, is
This
it all
is-
language?
Oxford Dictionary, right? If it's not in my English Oxford Dictionary of about 5 years ago, selfie people, right? If it's not in the dictionary 5 years ago, it's not a real word, and if you ever use it, I will kill your cat. That's how this works. Ugh.
Right,
Well,
while we're on that,
I
though,
don't have a cat.
since you mentioned selfie, I will say one thing that is annoying me to no end lately. I keep seeing things popping up like, oh, look at this selfie. You can take a selfie with this person, that person. It's like, not every photo that you take is a selfie. But it's become ubiquitous with the word picture, or synonymous with the word picture, and it's like, no, stop it. If you
Hey.
take a picture of yourself and somebody else, that's not a selfie, that's a picture.
Hey, do you want to take a koozie with me?
See, I would find that more acceptable, honestly.
Yeah.
Just stop calling
I
it
have
a
to
selfie.
mildly call hypocrite on Alan because he's taught me some words that I'd rather not know the meaning for that I'm pretty sure aren't in the dictionary, or at least not my copy of the English dictionary, which is 10 years old.
I'd like to point out the English Oxford Dictionary also has a sub-part. If you flick right through to the back and you click a link, it's the Urban Dictionary. It's wonderful.
Wait, did you do like the flip the back of the book and then click the
And then
Oh yeah, it's a wonderful invention.
Wow, your Kindle is advanced.
It also comes with pictures, so it's like flicking through, and it's just like
I don't want to see pictures for some of the words you've taught me.
No, he doesn't do pictures. He does video.
Oh.
To be fair, at some point, like I've referenced most of the hideous things in videos. I'm so lucky that I haven't done like picture overlays for most of those, because those would be horrific.
You should just do like New Term Tuesdays, where you pick an entry from Urban Dictionary and like illustrate it and explain it to everybody.
Hello YouTube. Today, hello YouTube. That's my channel. Today we're going to explain the word cunt waffle. Here's a picture.
There you go.
I don't want to know what that is.
Grammar teacher.
That's going to happen. That's going to be right up there with blue waffle. Brilliant.
So, thank you very much for watching Movie Club Strikes Back this Saturday. We've got a bunch of awesome stuff coming up soon. I think we should actually wrap up just now, Annie. That was actually me trying.
Probably. Yeah.
Probably about time.
Do you want to
Everybody do an outro.
as naturally as possible, please, just so they don't know.
Chris has turned into a
At
dog.
the back it goes too.
Thank you.
I think he doesn't understand what we're doing. Chris, we're signing out.
He doesn't have time for us anymore.
Yeah, he is dog. Oh no. He's
Okay,
just
well,
yawning.
I am Chris, and this is always is Riley, and you can find us at Easy Chair Reviews for doing movie reviews for Movie Club Strikes Back, and also occasionally here on Hangouts as well.
Mm.
And I am Courtney. Like I said, you can find me at Courtney Garrett or youtube.com/rhetoricalfoil. I doubt I'll be active in all the next couple weeks, but hopefully that will be rectified end of November, December, sometime. I don't know. I'll see you guys eventually.
I'm Alan. I'm Mr. Harry Britt. That's my channel if you haven't seen me, which is weird because most of you have. So yeah. My birthday's coming up in 2 weeks' time, so that should be fun. I'm the wonderful old age of 30, so that's going to be painful. I'm also hurtling towards 1 million YouTube views, which should happen sometime this month. I hope month of November. Sorry, which is mind-boggling because I never expected that to happen. And yeah, so by all means, check me out. Subscribe this week. I'm reviewing The Dark Crystal for Harry Movie Club. So if anyone wants to join in, that would be wonderful because everyone likes a bit of Jim Henson without David Bowie's penis.
Nope, I wouldn't have it anyway.
Oh, it's me. Sorry. I'm busy doing YouTube app things. Hi, I'm Jenny. Clearly, I'm rather tired right now. It's been a long day. I do movie reviews in theory, but I haven't done them in quite a while. And I will eventually catch up because I always do, but it does sometimes take me a while. And yeah, look forward to at some point when I actually have a day off, like 20 videos appearing on my channel and it being alarming and probably rather repetitive.
Hey guys, I'm Tor, and you can find me at Tor's Times across basically the entire internet. And tonight I'm wearing a hat. That is all.
To the point, short and sweet. I like it. Because I didn't do an intro, my internet is hateful. I am Liam. I am on YouTube as Servatorix as well as the rest of the internet as Servatorix. I mainly these days do videos where I'm a douche with a guitar. So yeah, and I will be doing movie reviews hopefully soon as well. I have tried to moderate this Hangout, although I didn't know what I was doing when I started the Hangout, so we'll see when we watch it back how well I did. thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we should be back again next week with the same kind of thing, but with a aim next week, with a topic. So, yeah, thanks for watching.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe, if
Bye.
we're lucky.